Hey, Bronco Nation. Welcome to Blue Turf Talk. Hope everyone out there is enjoying tonight's Hall of Fame game. We have two legends participating. We have Scott Matlock on the Los Angeles Chargers. And also we have Ahmad Hassanin on the Detroit Lions. Blue Turf Talk is a Blue Vision production. I'm your host, Nick Wade. I'm joined by my co-host, Sam Gillette of Sam Talk Sports. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great. Good to be here. Glad for another episode. Let's get it going.
Awesome. In this episode of Blue Turf Talk, we are joined by a special guest out of Bishop Manogue. We are joined by senior offensive lineman Kole Cronin. How you doing, Cole?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Thanks again for joining us on the show. And again, I thank you very much for collaborating with us on that recent article that we did that was posted on BroncoNationUpdates.com. It really was a good precursor to get to know you. So thanks so much for doing that for us.
Thank you for writing it for me. I appreciate it.
I don't. Okay, well, we're going to get right into this, Cole. We're going to talk a little bit about your background. You've got a great story. It's very unlike any that I've heard before, so I'm really excited to do this episode with you today. So, Cole, you didn't even play football until right before high school. Can you walk us through the first step onto the field and how quickly things took off from there?
Yeah. So I guess it kind of started when one of my dad's friends, whose son played baseball with me, he was getting a Pop Warner team set up, and we kind of had all the outcasts, and I'd never played football before, so he asked my dad if I'd want to try, and I got signed up. And once I got there, I fell in love with it. You can hit people, it's everything as advertised, and had a lot of friends on the team that I still play with now, and it just got really fun for me. And then it became more serious in my life.
So we read that you credit coaches Charles Manogue, Ken Crawford, and Ernie Howren with shaping your development. What impact have they both had on you on and off the field?
I think Coach Howren, he's great. He's the head coach right now, and he's definitely the guy that works with you off the field. He's in the weight room, he's subbing for classes sometimes, and he wants you to be an amazing student in a classroom. He wants you to be an amazing student out of school. He wants you to have fun out of school. He doesn't want you doing stupid stuff. He's a great coach. And on the field, he wants hard workers. He wants people doing their job, and he doesn't like people taking reps off. And I think Coach Manu, he's not here right now for my senior year. He was here for my sophomore and junior year, but I think that he was a gentle giant, and he was a great offensive line coach, and I learned a lot from him. And then Coach Crawford, he was the guy. I think he works in mixed martial arts and does that kind of stuff, and he's the defensive line coach, and his thing was violence, and he taught how to be a violent football player and how to hit hard and be the tough and determined.
So you started Pop Warner 1 year before your freshman year. So I'm drawing a conclusion here early on, and it's probably going to be the best compliment you'll get for a little bit anyway. But I'm going to start calling you the offensive Hassanin, because Hassanin came over from Egypt, had very little football background, and now, as mentioned in the intro, he's playing the Hall of Fame game tonight with the Detroit Lions. So I wish that success for you. Very little football background and coming in to punch it. your athletic background starts more in skiing and baseball. How does that, the skiing wise, how does that translate into what you're able to do on the football with your quick feet? And I know skiing downhill with trees flying at you and stuff, you got to be able to react pretty quickly to things. So how has that background helped you move into playing the offensive and defensive line?
So I think slalom skiing is probably the best for fast feet. It's the gates are coming at you, and you got to be able to make quick decisions and be able to attack the course. You know, you're going down some, like where I ski, where I've grown up skiing, we're going down where they had a World Cup race a couple of years ago, I think. And it's steep, and you got to be willing to attack it and not be afraid. And then where it's more like downhill and speed skiing, like Super G, it's skiers with big legs and strength. You know, you're going up to 80 miles an hour or faster than that, and you're fighting G-forces going around turns, which helps you gain really strong legs, and that's what you need on the offensive line.
What's it like going from never playing to becoming a first-team all-league lineman in such a short amount of time?
I think something that can speed your development really fast is going against great players. And my freshman year, it was our middle linebacker right now, Marley Spuler. He was playing defensive line, and he was really fast, and he had been playing football for a long time, way longer than me. And that was kind of his thing in life. And I learned really fast from him freshman year, got me better. And then sophomore year, Coach Manogue's son, Celeste Manogue, he was I think he's at Arizona State right now, and he's playing defensive end, and going against him every single day, it'll get you good real fast. And then senior year, Kean Stack, he'll be a long snapper at Nevada, great defensive lineman, and just playing against good guys that will make you better.
So as you're going into your senior season, you know, there's still some work to do on your end at the high school level. You know, you've already won multiple state titles, which you talked about in our article. But can you let our viewing audience know what are your goals for your senior season, both individually and for your team?
I think for my team, it'd probably be getting to another state championship. I definitely think we have a lot of returners on the wide receiver core and our skill players. And then on our offensive line, I think we got a lot of young guys who are physically able. They just need to learn our offense and get playing more violent varsity football. And I think that we definitely have a team that can get to another state championship. And it's just taking these preseason games, I think, a little more seriously. Some of them we win, and then some of them we get hit pretty hard. And we play some good California teams. And I think that's a good part of the season to get developed really fast. And then for my personal development, I think technique, getting ready to play at Boise, and just working on feet, hands, hips, just working on every little detail that I can so that I go in there not as such a big disadvantage. You know, I know I'll be a little underweight compared to most of the guys who have been there, and I'm not trying to get blown back 10 yards every play.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you know, Coach Crawford sounds like a really good mentor for you, keeping that balance between the academics and athletics. So how can you keep that balance and like talk about an action plan to keep that balance while training at such a high level and getting yourself all prepped and ready to go for Boise State?
I think it has a lot to do with time management. Working, like, your schoolwork stays at school, and football is in football, and if you don't do one, you can't have the other. Go to school, do your work, go to football practice, come home, maybe eat something, and then get right back to schoolwork, and then on to the next day. And just keeping things that in their designated time slots and keeping them balanced will make or break things.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
So you played 10 games last year, and both ways. You made mention that it's smaller schools, so you're forced to play both ways. I know a little bit how that goes. On defense, you had 35 tackles, 22 solo, 13.5 for loss with 9 sacks and 2 pass deflects. But you're going in for offense for Boise State. Given your two-way play, do you see yourself as someone who can bring versatility and leadership from day one at Boise State?
I don't know about playing two ways or maybe two positions. I think offensive line and defensive line are hard and very, very physically demanding. And I think that to really strive in playing football, you got to focus on one. And I definitely think I could work to be a great leader as I get older, but definitely not playing two ways.
Well, if you do play two ways, you can become the first offensive and defensive line Heisman Trophy winner since snaps are stats now.
Yeah.
But it's still incredible production for someone who plays both ways. I mean, having that many sacks and tackles for losses and being able to get some pass deflects in your career so far. And I'm sure you have dreams and aspirations of pushing that to the limit this year as well and on road to repeat as champions. Which of your defensive performances, and I know you're going for offense, but what's defensive performances stand out to you the most from your junior year?
From my junior year, I'd say probably the amount of tackles. Our defense. We got a lot of, responsibilities. We have to spill, we have to kick out offensive linemen, and I think our like day one meetings, we're told don't expect many tackles. We kind of rely on the defensive linemen to set it up for like our linebackers and our secondaries, and if the tackle's there for a defensive lineman, then that's what you get. But I think that the amount of tackles that I had on the way we run our defense is pretty cool.
Nice. And then we'll flip to the other side. What are your most memorable performances on the offensive side of the ball?
One of my most memorable times on offense was Friday, I think. Yeah, we had team dinner Friday, and everybody had a stomach bug, and nobody was feeling good. And I really didn't feel good that game, and I ended up having probably the best game of my life when it came to blocking. And I had a lot of pancakes and pancake blocks, and that was good. Nice. That was my favorite.
So that was your Michael Jordan flu game then, huh?
Yep.
All right. So, you got everything out of the way. You're going into your senior season. You have your commitment all locked up. So now you can focus on your senior season at Bishop Manogue. But let's talk about the Boise State commitment. From the article you did let the readers know that the first interaction you had was with Coach Keene early in your high school career. So what stood out about your relationship with him and Coach Danielson?
I think what stood out to me the most was their authenticity, and they're so personal. They're really easy to talk to. they talk with love and they talk with intent. And I'd say that's a big thing for me is real people, not just some person that's trying to woo you or something like that.
Yeah, authenticity is something that it's kind of one of those integral characteristics of being a Boise State Bronco and part of the program. I think I read somewhere where you met I think a future draft pick, Cage Casey. Did you meet Cage?
I did. I had a couple conversations with him. I think I had a lunch with him and then I had a dinner with him.
So when you came on your official visit, you were able to chop it up with Cage, and when you did, what were you able to glean from him, and on the the state of the program and being in that on a position on the line.
What I took from him is that the extra stuff goes a long way, and that you got to be fit when you come here for the offensive line. When I was watching them run decks, he's first one down every single time, and he is really fit. He told me he goes on really long hikes, and I think that's, like, as a hunter, that definitely will get you really in shape and give you a lot of endurance.
And as a native Idahoan, we have plenty of places you can hike. We're about anywhere in any direction. You got about a half hour, and you're in some prime country to do as many of those as you want. Or you can do the decks. We're very famous for that, so you'll enjoy those.
So now that you're committed to Boise State for the offensive line, will you still be working hard on the defensive, or were you going to focus solely offensive so that you're hitting the ground running coming into the blue?
I'm probably going to focus more on my offensive play, and then having fun on defense. I've got in high school, it's like I kind of got the physical advantage compared to an athletic advantage compared to most high school kids. So just kind of have fun on the defensive line, try to get some sacks, try to get some tackles, and then really tune in on the offensive line and get my steps down, my technique, my hands, hips, get all that down.
Yeah. What do you do to stay motivated now that you don't have to go out and impress somebody to try and get that next level offer? You already have it. So now what goes on into your day-to-days to stay motivated, stay focused, to keep improving and getting better?
I think the fact that football is fun is what keeps me motivated.
Yeah.
My friends say they see me just kind of kick-stepping sometimes in the hall or doing something like that, and I tell them it's fun, and they wonder why I do it. But I think that football is a fun sport, and that should be enough to keep you motivated to get better.
Yeah.
And especially going into a college, you don't want to be somebody who's unprepared, and you want to be ready.
Yeah. So you had offers from future or past Pac-12 foes, Cal and future with Oregon State, and offers from Arizona and Colorado. You had some pretty big name offers out there. What made you decide Boise State was the right fit, especially with the Pac-12 move on the horizon?
I'd say definitely the people. The people at Boise State, I'd say, were much more authentic than any other place. Maybe the schools that had a little bit more money, or maybe more transfer portal schools, I guess you could say. And I think that the people in Boise are amazing, and that's what stood out to me, and that's what made me want to commit.
Yeah. So you were the Northern 5A D2 Defensive Lineman of the Year last year. Linemen don't always get that kind of spotlight recognition whenever recruiting happens and all that. Do you feel that earning that award helped put your name on the recruiting map to get noticed and get these better offers?
Maybe a little bit. I'd say it's the film that comes. That's kind of what the end game is, and you need good film to get offers. And anybody can write defensive lineman of the year in their bio. It may not be true, but I think that you need to have film to back it up.
Yeah, and with your 9 sacks and proving you're explosive on defense and your tackles in a defensive scheme where the D-line doesn't really get that many tackles, and you being able to come up above the national average on basically every defensive category that's out there for a lineman. How do you see that defensive experience making you a stronger offensive tackle at the next level?
I think kind of like knowing what defensive players want to do,
Yeah.
If you took, I guarantee you, like NFL linemen know how to play defensive line. And then the defensive line know how to play offensive line. Maybe not as good, but they do know what the basis of their attack is.
Right.
And I think that will definitely help at the next level.
I know just from talking to you during the show that you're very granular and you're really high on authenticity, and so just want to know, like, when you think about stepping on the iconic blue turf, is that something that that resonates with you? Does that is there anything that excites you about doing that?
I think playing for a team that has so much history, and then that legacy of left tackles, I think it's something special, and it's definitely something that I took into consideration when committing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of Ryan Clady. Had a 9-year career with the Denver Broncos. Currently, we have Ezra Cleveland. He's on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And like I said before, I am anticipating Cage Casey of being the next number 1 draft pick. Not number 1, but in the first round, probably top 25 if he continues the legendary career he's had on the blue like he has. So, there is a lot of opportunity for any position on the Boise State Broncos. So, I'm excited to see what you can do on that iconic blue turf.
So, Bishop Manogue, they finished 10-3, won the Class 5A D2 state championship last year. We've talked about that off and on throughout here. How is playing for a championship level team prepared you for competition at the next level? We're going into a new Pac-12. We're going to be competing for that conference title from the RIP. So how does championship level program in high school prepare you for that next level to push for another conference title and beyond?
I think that the competition on the team that you're on is definitely something that'll help you when you're going against better teams. But I feel like at the end of the day, you have to go out and play your best against whatever team presents itself, whether it's Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, Mountain West. And then like competition on your own team has to help you get to where you don't care about who's in front of you. There's just a man on the other side of the ball. It's not some special Big 10 player. In
an article that we posted in BroncoNationUpdates.com, you did allude to one of your goals is to win the Offensive Lineman of the Year, to kind of go with the last year's Defensive Lineman of the Year. After already earning that honor, what would accomplishing that on the other side of the ball mean for you, Cole?
That would mean a lot. a lot of the talent coming out of Northern Nevada has been offensive linemen. Last year, the offensive lineman of the year was a Nevada commit. So I talked to him the other day at one of our contact camps, and I think that offensive linemen are really good in Northern Nevada, and it's really hard to get that honor, and it would mean the world to get that honor.
So ski racing has been a big part of your athletic background. You state champion in ski racing your sophomore year. Your team's won it the last 3 years running now. How have those skills, the balance, the quick feet, mental toughness, given you the edge on the football field?
I think the mental toughness is kind of like being able to go that next snap, offensive line, we're known for not being the best in shape as the other players, but I think that having the mental toughness to be able to go out and win the next rep, and then the feet, ski racing, it's fast paced sometimes. Sometimes you got to move your feet fast. Sometimes it's a little slower, but it's all leg strength, quick feet, and you got to be precise with them too. It's not move them wherever you want. You got to know how to move them fluidly to where your skis are running smooth and not skidding on the back of the turn.
I must admit, I've never done any skiing. So my mom used to, and it killed her knees, and I decided that football was going to kill my knees and not skiing.
And we do have skiing around here. It's not like Tahoe, but I mean there are some other hills that you can ski if Coach D allows you to do that.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on into rapid fire, and Nick and I are gonna ask you some questions. Just first thing that pops into your head, go ahead and spit it out, and we'll get through this real quick. The first question, the most controversial question of this rapid fire: does pineapple belong on pizza?
Nope.
One word you use to describe yourself as a player is flexible. Can you give us a quick example from last season where that flexibility really paid off?
I think I'm just going to tell you something my coach said. He said first off, I have a nickname. It's my nickname is Pez. So the little Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
So he said he was the first player that he's seen to block somebody from like my thighs, so if I was standing up and I'm supposed to be kind of like that, he's the first person to see where I've blocked somebody back here, like leaning back.
Nice.
And that's why my nickname was Pez, because I go back sometimes my sophomore year, and when I was a little lighter, so top half of my body would go back, but then I'd give you a treat, and then I'd block you really, really well.
Nice. You've talked about leadership through resilience. How do you stay centered through all the chaos?
How do you stay centered through all the chaos? I think knowing your priorities, knowing what's important and what you have to do, and keeping things in a set order of importance and values is what keeps you on track.
You told us that your hobbies include hunting and fishing. You're going to fit very well here in Boise, Idaho. Can you tell us your favorite hunting or fishing experience you've had growing up?
One of my favorite memories hunting was last season. So the Humboldt Sink, some years it has enough water, some years it doesn't. So you need an airboat to get out there, and our airboat has kind of been sitting in the garage, haven't really been using it. And so my dad got it running, thought it was running well. So we drive out there and we shoot our limit, and then we're coming back and it's not turning on. And so we ended up pushing it through the marsh for a while, and then we tried it one last time and it fired up, and then we drove back, and that was pretty fun. It was a good day of hunting, and then not so good on the drive back.
Sounds like you have my kind of luck, but a lot of those times when that kind of stuff happens, that turns into a memorable experience that you'll never forget. So sometimes it's a blessing, but yeah, that kind of stuff happens to me all the time.
Yeah. It's a little scary up there because there's big cracks in the mud. So they get up to like 9 feet deep. And
wow.
If you can't see anything in the dark. So if you step in a crack, you're kind of like falling in, you get your waders wet, and then you're really cold, and then it's not fun at all.
Yeah.
We read from the article about your memorable moments. If you had to pick one, whether it's tipping a pass for an interception like you did in state or pancaking a defensive end on 4th down, which moment gets you more fired up?
I'd say the tipping the pass to my best friend. That'd get me more fired up than pancaking a defender.
Nice.
Because you can pancake them on pretty much every play, but you can't really tip an interception to your best friend every play.
And lastly, for Bronco Nation, your stats show dominance, but your story shows resilience and growth, which really connects with Bronco Nation. What's the biggest message you'd like fans to take away about who you are as a player and a person?
I'm here to work hard, and I want to be a part of the program, and I really love what you guys have to offer, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, and from your article and from what you have described with us during this show, I think it's a perfect fit for you. I mean, the culture, the program, the type of fans that we have. I mean, I think it's going to be a great union, and I look forward to seeing what you do on that iconic blue turf. But thank you so much for joining us for the show. I'm really glad that you were able to get the freedom after practice, no less. And so I think that Bronco Nation is going to really love your story and the experience that you've had. From the slopes to the iconic blue. It's an amazing story to me. I love stories like that. So very appreciate you, Kole. I want to thank you, Bronco Nation, for watching the show. Bronco Nation Updates has been around since about 2010, and we've been able to cover a lot of the legends that come out of high school as recruits, perform on the blue, and then go on to the next level at the NFL. Just like tonight, we have local product from Homedale, Scotty Matlock on the Los Angeles Chargers, and the first Egyptian-born athlete playing on the NFL stage with Ahmed Hassanin making his debut on the NFL stage at the Hall of Fame game. So really appreciate you, Bronco Nation, for supporting these student athletes. I encourage you to go and read the article that we have on BroncoNationUpdates.com about Kole and just get to know him better. This is what Bronco Nation Updates is all about, not only covering all the sports that Boise State has, but also getting that community connection with our prized student athletes. But really, thank you for watching this show. We do have more shows coming, so stay tuned, and if help us become monetized by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and then everything that that we can monetize, we will be sharing with the school to help out the program build from an elite program so that we can dominate the CFP. But as always, thanks once again, Bronco Nation. Always, always bleed blue. Go Broncos.
Hi, I'm Ron Dorn. I'm president of Blue Elevation. A lot of you have probably heard of it in other sites like Bronco Nation Updates, and I just want to talk a little bit about Boise State football and what we're trying to do to help move the team forward. It's a lot of fun to work with them, but as you know, with the upheaval in college football and the NIL money, we're always needing more, and we're trying to do that by giving more news to you than you can get in other sources, and events that you might be able to attend. And we would just love to see your support, additional support for Boise State, so we can take this to the next level, especially moving into the Pac-12. I see such a bright future for us by doing this. For those of you that are as old as I am, you remember when we had wooden bleachers and we did rodeos in the stadium, and we had good coaches and we were doing the best we can with what we had. These coaches need that continuated support to make it happen for us. You can see what we've done with what little we've had, but we really need the help, and we just need the commitment, and we need you to get involved with us to push the Boise State program forward. Again, especially going to the Pac-12, and especially the futures out there, and what the basketball team is doing, the women's softball team is doing, and some other sports that I follow. We just want to keep you involved and focused and helping us out any way that you can do that to support our university.